We are going to change a paper magazine to use a different size paper. So I have a little manual insert for just how to do this. There's a bunch of different things you have to change, sort of depends on how far different the magazine's going to be. I'm using a magazine right now that had 152 in it, and we're going to change it to 279, and that means that a bunch of the pieces aren't going to work. We have to swap them out. So basically the things that you could change are this piece. So that's for a small roll. We're going to change that to a larger one that's going to fit somewhere in there. And then these are the side where the roll is. I've already taken one off. This piece here, I'm pretty sure is the same no matter what width paper you have. This one over here has a number on it. That says number 1. And if you go into the manual, you will see here width regulation guide. 1 is good from 82 to 254. We're going to 279, so I need mine to say a 2. And here's one that has a 2 on it. Right there. So we're going to swap that one out, and then you have to find where it goes, and there's little markings on here. I've already put the one that's universal, and you can see it's lined up with 279 right there, though it's upside down. And then I probably needed to put this in there when I did it, so I'll undo that. So that piece needs to be replaced. If you're on 279, let's see. If the paper is between 279 and 305, then there's also another piece that goes somewhere over here that I can't put it on there right now because I haven't moved that one yet. So you need to swap out this thing maybe, depending on what width you're changing to. You need to change the guides to be the right width, and also you might have to change this one from a 1 to a 2 or a 2 to a 1, depending on how far different the width is from what you were using. Then there's also a piece that goes over here if you're on 279 or larger. And then you got to make sure you put these things in with the little width guides. Oh. And then of course you need to change the little sensor dots here based on what paper you're using. So the first couple are for the paper type, and then you just have to look at this grid to figure out the width, and then you also have to figure out the spindle thingamajiggy. One side is always free. The other one you have to unscrew some of these things and then figure out which one of these notches it's going to need to go into. I think I'm going to be shooting for this one because that's going to be 12-inch. That's about a 1/2 inch, so that'll be 11-inch. Gets a little confusing if you're on the really middle widths. You have to sort of count these sometimes or just sort of figure it out. So now I've unscrewed the old plate and getting ready to put the new one in. They do this interesting thing where, see out here, this is not an actual fixing point. This is a fixing point. You know, that's something you're going to screw and it's going to hold in. That's holes bigger than the screw, so you can see how there's already a screw in there, and that's fine. This other one has an empty spot, that's good. This one is another non-affixing thing, and there is no screw, so the screws that I took out for the old one, I need to put back in there before I put this in there. And then this one is a fixing point, an attachment point, and it's already got a screw there. So I need to unscrew that screw so I can screw through this thing to hold it in there. It's kind of interesting the way they did that. So when you have the width guides in here, you need to make sure that this other roller thing sort of snaps into it like that. See how it fits together in there. And then you need to make sure this is in the right slot, and then the number should point to it. It's upside down, 279, but see how the arrow is pointing right to the edge of this. Same thing over here. I've already moved this. I replaced this. Now it's got a 2 on it. And again, over here on the side, 279 is lined up. And then on this bracket, you can see how there's a bunch, you could put it in a bunch of different places, and then there's different screw holes to see which one it fits in. So now I've added this other plastic piece. This is only for 279 to 305, so it's only for 11 inch and 12 inch that you need this on there. There weren't any screws in there, so there was a little packet of screws in one of the magazine parts packages. So we've got the guides on here, we've got this piece on there, other guides fixed up, and we replaced this other plate as well. So that's it for the inside of the magazine. And now on the outside of the magazine, these are the things that trigger the sensor to know what paper is loaded. We want 279, 11 inch, so we need one sticking out on the far right, which there currently isn't. And then we need to push in this one. So I need to pull out this one here. And then what do we need? 279. That one's already sticking out. That one's already in. So what is this? In, out, in, out. So I think that's correct. And then over here we're going for number 2. And right now it's set to number 4. So now we're on number 2. 279. Got that one, and I think that's correct. So now we just need to move this plate. You can see how there's 2 different pieces here. You just need to unscrew one of them, and then you'll be able to move it down and then get it to fit in the slot. I think we're shooting for this slot. That would be 12 inch. That looks like a half an inch, so that should be 11 inch, and then we should be done. Okay, so I think we're done. I got the plate on there in what I think is the right position. When you do it, try not to unscrew the screws all the way. You should just be able to loosen them on one of the plates, and then you should be able to slide it back, and then you can move the whole thing. Sometimes the slots want to drag along there, but that's fine. And then when you get it in position, tighten it back, move it all the way in, and then tighten it back up. So now when you're done, it's always a good idea to test your work. So this is an 11 inch wide emulsion change print. And you can see it lines up pretty well there. Wants to hang on this side, but I think that's just me doing it with one hand. I think that's correct. There's a little bit of a bow there, but I think that's this one side that changes out, has a little spring in it to keep it tight in there. I think it's good. I think we're done.